Hey guys, and welcome back to the Civilization 5 Germany No City Challenge. I have recently fixed the scientific glitch that plagued my run-through from the start, and to kind of give you guys an overview of what I did, for those of you who are interested in doing this challenge for yourself, it is necessary for you to use the in-game editor, or IGE mod, and basically what you do is you select the city that you first captured. In my case, it was Rotterdam. And you actually have to delete your city, but worry not. What you can do is you can spawn in a settler, which is what I did. Settle the same exact spot on the same turn. And basically what you do then is, for me, I settled the city, marked it as occupied, changed the name to Rotterdam as it was when I first captured it. And yeah, this is basically all you have to do. For some reason, there is an in-game bug. That means that basically, if you take any city that is not yours, that you've settled yourself, you cannot gain any scientific progress. So as you guys can see, I've rectified this situation, and mining is now slowly researching. So yeah, let's go ahead and give this run a try. Alright, give this run another go. As you can see, I'm in a pretty good position. I have a lot of archers, about 3 of them, a great general, and an army of warriors. So, to give you guys a little rundown of what I'm doing in this run, for those of you who are new, or those of you who are just turning in after about the week hiatus between this run-through and part 2, I have just captured the second Aztec city, Teotihuacan. I'm not an Aztec speaker, nor am I Mexican, so I have no idea how to actually say this or pronounce this word, but I've captured the second Aztec city in addition to the capital of the Aztecs. Rotterdam is the first city that I've captured, as you guys can see. It is Rotterdam. And right now, I am in the process of scouting the map, looking for more barbarian encampments in which to pillage. And as you guys may or may not know, each time I capture a barbarian encampment, there is about a 66% chance of me getting a gold bonus and the ability to convert that barbarian to my side. Now, in this challenge, I'm not actually able to produce any units myself. Instead, I must take units from these encampments and upgrade them later on, as soon as I get the technology. As you guys can see, though, it is relatively late in the game. It is 1830 BC, and I have yet to research my first technology, so the German people are falling behind, scientifically speaking. Now what I'm doing here, as you guys can see, I'm moving my Great General back into Amsterdam. The Dutch are right there. And my plan is actually to buy a tile in Rotterdam to allow me to plop down my citadel. And as you guys can see, I've already bought that tile. This will allow me to plop down my citadel and steal their luxury resources, and kind of give me a bulwark, a defensive bulwark, into attacking them. As you guys can see, I have just captured a hand axe, which will be great and will come in handy in the future invasion of the Netherlands. So, sit back and relax and watch as the German hordes descend upon the civilized countries and the barbarian encampments to recruit more and more German soldiers. I'm hoping that, with any luck, there should be spearmen that start to begin to spawn in these encampments. As you guys can see, I've just gotten a hand axe, which you can actually recruit without having the German unique ability of converting barbarians. So this is a very unique unit that will allow me to attack ranged and not take any damage with the unit itself. So that's fantastic. Right now I'm kind of just coming up with a game plan of who to attack next. Like I said, I'm thinking that at this point, attacking William will make the most amount of sense. I see where his capital is, and it's right next to my capital, so it is ripe for the taking. I just need to maneuver my men close enough to his capital in order to begin the war. Also, the reason I have not placed my citadel right next to his capital yet is because I'm waiting on mining. The research itself has to go through, because as you will see in a second, when you try to place the citadel on a forest tile without mining, it actually forces you to research the technology first. So mining will be good. It'll allow me to improve the luxury resource northeast of Tenochtitlan, the Aztec capital. That way I can kind of improve my happiness by mining those gems. My empire is incredibly unhappy at the moment, which is pretty much what you might expect from an empire that is forged upon the blood and tears of its enemies. Like I said, I haven't settled any cities myself, so every holding that I own, all of the land that I own, has been tearfully plucked from the brow of my enemy. So, quite understandably, my people are very upset, or rather my subjugated citizens, if we can even call them citizens at this point, are rather upset, which is all understandable. So, you guys might also notice that we're losing gold at a rather exponential rate. You see, for each barbarian encampment that I encounter, plunder, and convert, I'm actually having to pay more and more upkeep progressively for these units. And another thing is that to the right of my faith, in the top center of the screen, there is a red exclamation mark. And I didn't really know what this meant, but apparently this means that I have too many units for my empire to support. And this malice does a few different things. First of all, it seems right now that the only thing that it does negatively is that it affects my production. And you might say, oh, it's not a big deal, you know, production, I'm only going to be able to make buildings, pretty much. And I've decided that in order to avoid making military units, if a building completes and it forces me to choose production, I will just make workers. So yeah, as you guys can see, my only really source of gold will be plundering these encampments. So, in a somewhat ironic twist, the only way to support my economy is by plundering and converting more and more barbarians, but the more I do that, the more my financial strain will be. So, in the future, I'm planning on actually just throwing my men into cities. This way, I can kind of lose some of that upkeep. Now you can see that William is a little bit upset that I'm on his border, understandably. He has no army that I can see, at least no army that's accountable for. Knowing William, he is on a adventure halfway across the continent. He was not able to defend his last city that I'd taken from him, and he only had one warrior to show for himself. So, it seems to me that this will be a very easy conquest, once again. I am just waiting for mine to proc so that I can place my citadel, and then Amsterdam will rightfully belong to the German Reich. Reich? Sorry guys, I also don't speak German, so maybe if you guys can correct me, I'm not sure if it's Reich or Reich. It really matters not. This playthrough will literally be a German wet dream, as I intend to conquer all of the continent. This is Pangea once again. So as soon as William is out of the picture, I will be sending my trusty German barbarians across the continent in search of bigger and better things to plunder, which is great. Now that we know technologies of mining, we are able to clear the forests and place our citadel right on the border of William's empire? I'm not sure if I'd really call it an empire. He looks more like a city-state to me at this point, which is great for us. He has absolutely no defense to account for. And I'm thinking next turn we're going to attack him. I just need to get my units in position. As you can see, I've got quite a bit of range now, which is great. 3 archers and a hand axe. I think the only real way that I'll be able to get... And look at that, another wonder that popped up in the city I'm about to take. That's fantastic. They explain why he didn't have any warriors to defend his territory. But anyways, as I was saying, it seems to me that the only way for me to actually get siege units is to befriend a militaristic city-state. That way they'll give me all sorts of nice units, exotic units, like cannons, catapults, that sort of thing. As you can see, we're making a worker in Rotterdam, as I am not allowed to make any military units, and I am out of options for buildings. So, once we unlock currency, if we even get that far, I'll convert these cities into producing money so that our deficit isn't so harsh. As you can see, we're sitting on a -5 gold deficit. It's pretty terrible. And it's a shame because our empire is basically at the cusp of a golden age, if it wasn't for the fact that we're unhappy. But it looks to me that even with this mine that's being constructed over here, which takes 17 turns on Marathon, that is absolutely ridiculous. Even if we improve this luxury resource, the likelihood of us being able to improve it before we take William's capital is low, so I'm predicting that our unhappiness will be around -6, or 6 unhappiness, I should say. But as you can see, I am starting to take over Amsterdam. This won't be very hard. Earlier it would have been, but now that I have range, it'll be fantastically easy. And there you have it, the fall of William's empire, or I guess William's city, I should say, because he's a city-state at this point, is at hand. To reiterate, he has no defenders within striking distance, so we are just going to focus purely on his city and bombard it with as many of our range units as we can. And as I said earlier, I have too many melee units at this point, so I'm thinking about sacrificing this unit just so I'm not making so much of a deficit here. And we have plenty of warriors, so it doesn't really matter. His city will surely bombard and kill. Yep, that unit is down, which is totally fine. Archers are promoted. My men are getting better and better at slaughtering and pillaging, which is fantastic. They will need that if they are going to be able to take on Maria, Shaka, and who's the leader of Morocco again? I keep forgetting. I think it's Abdul? Abdul something? Anyways, thus far I've managed to encounter Austria, the Zulu, and Morocco. So they will be next on the cutting board, so to speak, in our Germans' quest for more Lebensraum, which roughly translated means living space. It's basically what made Hitler such a terrible man. He was looking for more living space for his German people, at the expense of pretty much all of the neighboring countries of Germany. But this is not World War II. In fact, this is the 1640 BC, so we are miles behind in technology. As you can see, I am getting my first social policy, which is honor. This will allow me to basically take culture from each barbarian I kill, which will rapidly add up, as in order to convert barbarians, I need to kill them first. Doesn't really make any sense, but you know, I'm not really sure if much of this game makes any sense. So now that we see where the barbarian encampments are, this should help quite a bit. And there are quite a bit of barbarian encampments, due to the fact that there are no civilizations here to quote-unquote civilize the lands and keep it out of barbarian grasp. I am deciding whether or not to attack this turn. I think that next turn will be a more safe bet, just so I don't lose any more melee units. More reinforcements are coming from the south, and as you can see, I'm protecting my worker over here from a barbarian hand axe, which will die very shortly. It's my guess that the other civilizations that I have not really found their territory all belong to the southeast and east, maybe even to the south. Because as you guys can see, I am in the northwest part of this Pangaea, or at least I believe I am, as I've explored everything except the south, southeast, and east. And